did I first meet your teacher was we did, I can't remember if it was a basketball game or something like that, but like teachers have to do so many games where you take money and you work them. And so that's how I first met her. And we found out that we had a few things in common. And unfortunately, one of the things we had in common, and we had both lost a parent. And so, like, how do you deal with that and all that? So, first of all, great to see you. Oh my gosh, you look so good in blue. That really, like, shines in your face. So it's wonderful. Hold on, I'll be right back. Just give me 1 second.
Sounds good.
I'm so busy and so important. I can't believe I have to be here. Huh. That's what you chose to wear today? Oh my God. Wow. Yeah, great to see you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, you guys are really excited to be here. Okay, now, let's rewind. Of course you know I was play acting, right? It's really hard for me to be mean, and I do it with a straight face, okay? What did you think about the first Mrs. Schmitt that came in? What did you notice? Raise your hand. What did you notice about me when I first came in? Oops, I was nice. Even before I said anything, what did my body gesture say? Yes. I was excited to be here, which I really am. What else? Anything about my face? Yeah, how do you know I was happy? I was smiling. My husband, love him to death. We've been married 25 years. Some days I want to kill him. But other than that, I love him. You'll understand when you've been married 25 years, you'll understand completely. You'll think back to this of what I mean by that. He always says his favorite thing about me is my smile. And so I just love that. What did you think about the second Mrs. Schmitt that came in? If you could have seen some of your faces, what were you thinking? Even though you probably knew I was make-believing, right? Play acting. What did you think? What did you think about the second Mrs. Schmitt? Yeah. Mean. Yeah, what else? What was my body like? What was my gestures like, my body posture? Didn't seem like I wanted to be here. I always say that students and animals, like young kids, younger than you, and animals can see right through you. They can tell. Like anytime I'm around Izzy, you know our dog, Izzy, Mrs. Ward's dog, she comes right up to me. She's so happy to see me, and she can tell that I genuinely love her. Little kids are always like happy to see you and all that. So, what I want you to know is it's a choice. It's a choice if you want to be happy or not. You are in control. There's some things in our life that we're not in control of. But how you act, if you're going to be positive or negative, you are in control of that. So we're going to talk about what are some of the tools that we can do and how can we have a good day even when we don't want to, or even when there's other things going on in our life. First impressions are really hard to get over. Have you ever met someone and right away you're thinking, I don't like that person? Because maybe they were rude to you. I know I always worry about when I'm teaching foods class, because it's always rush, like we only have so much time. I always worry about when I get after the kids, hurry up, walk faster, move with purpose, right? And then I feel like I'm barking at them, and I don't want to, but it's like, move it. So I have to kind of find a nice way. Now, most of my students, once they take one of my classes as a freshman, I see them all the rest of 4 years. I have some students that say to me, I go, well, why did you decide to take advanced foods? And they go, I don't know anything about it. I just knew you were the teacher, and I knew it was going to be fun.
Aww.
So it's the relationship that you build with each other. here's what's important. You guys are young, okay? You haven't had all the life experiences like your teacher and I have had. There is many things that happen to us that are not fun. There's stuff that happened to me in my childhood. There's stuff that happened to us that we can't change. But here's my theory, is where do you go from there? Say something really, really, really awful happens to you. Let's look at history for that. When the Boston Marathon had the bombing and people were killed, people lost their limbs, those people did not feel sorry for themselves. They went out and they made sure they ran the Boston Marathon again. The ones that had lost limbs, they just did it with a prosthesis. Or when 9/11 happened, people went out and they formed other charities. They might have lost their own spouse, but they went out and they helped other people. So it's okay to be sad. Has anyone in here ever lost a pet? Raise your hand. Has anyone in here ever lost a dog or a cat or a turtle or whatever kind of pet? What do you feel like? Anyone want to share? What do you feel like when you lose someone you love? Sad. Is that okay? Yes. That is a perfect, normal human emotion. It's okay to feel sad. And you feel that way with a pet. When you lose a loved one, it's even worse, right? You're sad. I mean, I still get a little sad. I lost my mom 6 years ago. And it's okay to miss them, because that kind of shows how much you love them, okay? So it's okay to be sad. I mean, there's times that I sat in the school parking lot and cried, put some Visine in my eyes, walked in with a smile on my face, and just left it behind in the parking lot. Because I knew I had to be that person up in front of a classroom, and I couldn't be standing up there teaching while I'm crying, okay? But that doesn't mean that you're gonna be sad sometimes, and that's okay. So what can you do when you're sad? What can you do? I don't know about you, but I kind of just like to be alone, maybe take a nap, and I give myself permission. It's okay to be sad. Sometimes I would even just cry in the shower so no one else in my family knew, but they always knew. So it's okay to have those emotions. Now, my mom would not want me to spend every single day crying because I miss her. My mom she was such a fun person. She would want me to have fun and put a smile on my face. So I had to remember what made me happy. So right now I want you to turn to someone next to you and tell them 2 things that makes you happy. Either a person or something you do. 2 things. So go ahead and share with each other. What makes you happy? What makes you happy? Something fun you do.
What makes you
Doing hurdle? I can try it. Cool. That's
me too? My family makes me happy.
What makes you happy?
Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
Sleep. I love it.
Cuddling with your dog. That's good. Yeah.
Sleeping in on a weekend.
Oh yeah, sleeping in. Or getting up early.
Okay,
Getting up
1
early
second. We're
before
going to come
everybody
back
else.
to the whole group. All right. Does anyone want to share what makes them happy? Yes, sir.
Family and friends.
Family and friends. I know you've probably heard me talk about my little Eli. He is 8 years old, going to be 9 this summer. He makes me smile all the time. Like, anytime I'm sad, I think about something with him. What else makes you happy? Sports. I'll be real truthful. When I was in high school, I went to school to play sports. I didn't go to school to get an education. I know we don't want to hear that. But I ended up getting an education while I played sports and went to college and got even further, and then went and got my master's degree. So, but at the time, that's what was important to me was sports. Yes. When you dance, nice. What kind of dance? Jazz, very cool. Oh, she's much better dancer than I am. We all have to find someone and some things that make us happy. Don't just put all your happiness with one person. That's never a good idea. Because if all my happiness was with my mom and then she passed away, I'm going to be on an island. And no one can survive on an island alone. Not for very long. So my happiness is also with the rest of my family. I have wonderful friends. I have a great husband. I have this whole circle. Does that make sense? So you never just want to do that. I also have a religious, I believe in God, and He helps me through so much. And I know we're at school, but I think it's still okay to say that. I just have a very strong faith system, and sometimes you really need that. You just really need that extra power to someone to talk to. So the other thing is do something you love. Another key secret about being happy and being positive. Number one, it's a choice. It is a choice. I have students, especially on Monday morning, because I stayed up too late on Sunday night, and I'll stand there and I'll greet them, and I'll say, hey, good morning, and they'll be like, whoa, don't talk to me. I'm like, you don't realize, but you woke up this morning. So right there, you're on the right side of the ground. So right there, that's the first thing going your way, is you're alive. Not everybody gets that. Second thing is you get to choose, how is my day gonna be? Now, there's some bumps in the road as we go. I might come in the morning and maybe another teacher says to me something that I didn't like to hear. Or maybe they were negative about something, and I don't like hanging around negative people. But there are those negative people, and I just say to them something, it's code for me, I wish you joy. Or I might say to them, there's a song about, I'll pray for you. Of course, the lyrics are something like, I'll pray that your brakes go out going down a hill. But it's a country western, it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek, it's like a comedy kind of thing song, sarcastic. So I just try to smile and just say, I wish you well. But in my mind, I'm saying, okay, get out of my classroom because you're not spreading joy. When you are going to say something to someone, in your head, I think of two simple things. Is it kind? Is it helpful? Last night I had to put that into effect. I was on Facebook and one of my cousins showed a picture, and it was her daughter in her prom dress. I thought it was a very inappropriate dress. It showed a lot of cleavage, it showed a lot of leg, it showed lots of stuff. And I thought to myself, do I post on there? But would that be kind? If I said something negative, would that be helpful? No, she's already in the dress, she already wore it to prom. And it's my opinion. She probably thinks she looked wonderful, and she did, she was a beautiful girl. But I'm just a little bit more conservative in my dress. So I didn't say a thing. I did not post anything. Number one, I didn't want to post, wow, that's a fabulous dress, because then I would be a liar. And I don't believe in lying. And that's one thing people are going to know about me, is I'm a straight shooter. I'm a straight talker. If you're out of line, you're doing something that's disrespectful, I'm going to call you out on it. I'm going to say, hey, I don't like the way you just talked to me. I don't like your eye rolls. You guys, middle school girls are so good at that. Rolling your eyes, I see it. And I'm going, I don't like that. So I will be very honest about it. But sometimes being honest might sound like it's a little bit brutal too. So I have to be really careful. I don't want to hurt people's feelings. My friends, I don't filter at all. I go, what were you thinking? Orange and purple? Really? But those are my friends, and they know I love them, and they love me, and I can be that way. But I would never go up to a stranger and go, because it's not helpful, it's not kind.
Yes.
And really what it's doing is it's making me look bad. When you talk down against someone else, you're trying to put them down, you really just shine the light on your negative, and that you're being down on your on that. Positive thinking, boy, it's not always easy, is it? What's some things that can go wrong in your day? What's some things that can go wrong? Anybody in here ever failed a test? Because boy, I know I have. My first test in college, I was really nervous. We took them on paper and pencil back then, instead of on the computer. And I thought, wow, I'm the first person done. I must be so smart. And I handed in my test. I didn't know there was a backside. I never turned the paper over. I flunked the test. The professor flipped it over, so I didn't do the back. Did not give it back to me. It was a lesson I learned. I've had students, I always look at the back of their test and go, hey, there's another page, you forgot this. Or at the beginning of the test, I might say, hey, there's another page or whatever. So I've learned from that mistake. I thought it would have been kinder of the professor to give it back to me and say, hey, you still got time, please finish. But that's not how it works in the world. Sometimes you learn more from your failures than you have from your successes. So what else, besides failing a test, what can go wrong? What can go wrong? And if you don't want to share out personal stuff, that's okay. You can just say, this could happen. Mom and Dad could have a fight at home and maybe you overheard it. Has nothing to do with you guys. You think it does, but has nothing to do with you. My little nephew, Eli, raise your hand, how many of you have heard me talk about him? He's the pictures on my desk. I love him to death. I get him this weekend. We play Nerf dart guns. We have so much fun. I have on the gear, I have on the goggles, I have on the vest. You would not recognize me on the weekends because I am not Mrs. Schmitt, do this, do that. I am Auntie April, let's have fun. So we'll do all that fun stuff. Eli, I'll share with you, he's going through a tough time right now. They're going through a custody battle. His mom is remarried, and he loves his stepdad, and he has a sister now who's 3. He thinks she's a pain in the butt. She is, but we love her. But his dad has not seen him, it's been almost a year, since May. He doesn't bother to call him. He doesn't try to see him, but yet he's fighting for custody because he just is a big jerk. So it's really hard on Eli. And he cries about it, and we talk about it. And so I try to tell him, I can't change your dad. I can't change him. He's always going to act like this until he learns to grow up a little bit. But who are the guys in your life that could take a place of a dad? Or who would help shoulder that kind of love? And so we start naming off my husband, all of his uncles, all of his stepdad, all the males that are in his life. And then he feels better. So I'm hoping that everybody in here has a person. I'm Eli's person. He tells me stuff he won't tell his mom. He tells me stuff after we read a story and we're going to bed. He tells me what happened in school. And there's a lot of drama, believe it or not, in 3rd grade. Right now he's dealing with at recess, the girls try to catch him and kiss him. And he doesn't want that. But he says, don't worry, I can run faster than those girls can. Or if they do catch me, then all my friends come, and the one friend's like a tornado, and he sets me free. And so they're so cute at that age, and they're so fun. But I think in school, when things go wrong, it's usually because someone said something about somebody else, right? Or no one wants to sit by me at lunch. Do you think that those are the things? Or someone says, instead of, and by the way, blue really does look good on you.
Oh.
But someone could have said, did you see her hair this morning? Did she comb it with a shoe? I mean, they say mean stuff, right? And social media. I feel sorry for you guys actually being on social media at your age. Because people say stuff that they would never say to your face. Mm-hmm. They could text it to you of, oh my gosh, I don't like that shirt. But they would never come up and say that to you, right? Because they don't have the guts. Nor should they be saying it. So on social media, you were in control. I would delete the people. You can give grace, not grief. So be kind to each other. here's the challenge I'm gonna give you. What do you do if somebody is walking down the hall and they knock someone's books out of their hands? What could you do? Help the kid that got the books knocked out? Would you say anything to the big bully that just did it? You might not want to, because then you're afraid they're gonna come after you, right? So when I was your age, I was a kid that would speak up. I was the kid that would say, hey, that wasn't nice. Don't ever do that again. And these were big kids that I would say this to. I don't know why, or I don't know how, but I always had this intrinsic power. Maybe because I was kind of mouthy. That's what my teachers called it. I call it gumption. I call it moxie. I have moxie. I have more moxie than most people. When I see somebody doing something they shouldn't be doing, I try to correct it. If there's a kid sitting alone at lunchtime, I went and sat with them. And then my friends would come sit with us too. That small act of kindness could just change that whole kid's life. If you know, and we all know in this school who's not as popular. I like that song though, popular, from Wicked. No, I won't sing it, it's okay. We all know who thinks they're popular. So let me let you in on a secret. When I went all through school, all through high school, I never thought I was popular. Never. I was tall. I grew tall really fast. I had high waters. My jeans were too short. I wore t-shirts and jeans my whole life. I never dressed up. We didn't have a lot of money. But I was good in sports. I was a tough kid. Nobody ever bothered me. Because I stuck up for myself. But after high school, we have our class reunions. And I've had many since. I've been out of school a long time. And all the people come back to me at our class reunions and told me how popular I was. I'm like, rewind, wait a minute. I was there in high school, I wasn't popular. And they said, you were because you were nice to everybody. I wasn't in a clique. Even though I was a big jock, I wasn't in like, those were my only friends. I was friends with everyone. Now it helped that I only had 37 kids in my high school class. I had a really small class. But I was nice to everyone. And they remember that. And to this day, every single one of my high school classmates, you could ask them about me, and I know they would say, she's kind and she's nice. And that's the kind of legacy I want to leave.
Mm-hmm.
There's some girls in my high school that at reunions, and we call them the mean girls. They are still the mean girls. They have not changed. I still wish them well in their life, but I don't know why you have to be mean. You don't have to put other people down. Okay, I've been standing up here a long time talking. But what I was gonna say was, I hope that all of you have a person that's your person, like Eli has me. I've always got his back. If he's doing something wrong, I don't just let him do it. I call him out on it and I say, hey, make a better choice. It's not okay to do that. If he talks disrespectful, or if he's mean to his little sister because she took his toys, I say, Eli, she's 3. That's what little sisters do. It's not okay. So you choose another word, because we don't use that language in our house. We don't get to call people stupid. So pick a better word. So I don't let him buy with everything, because I wouldn't be doing my job as an aunt. But he knows I love him no matter what. How does he know it? I tell him it all the time. I tell him who's my favorite person in the whole wide world. And he knows it's him. So my husband always kind of teases him a little bit and says, I'm your best friend, right? And he goes, no, April is. Oh, by the way, my first name's April. So he goes, no. And so then the one day I told my husband, Ken, I said, ask him, and whatever I said, see what his answer is, but I said, what do? Do you guys know what a fainting goat is? Have you ever seen pictures of a fainting goat? So we're kind of weird at our house. Sometimes Eli does a fainting goat. If there's something that he doesn't like, or if there's something, whatever, just be funny, he does a fainting goat. And it's kind of funny when it's a little 8-year-old doing it. So I talked to Eli and I said, Eli, I said, just once when Ken says, am I your best friend? Tell him he is. So we're in the living room, so we have carpet, and Ken asks Eli, I'm your best friend, right? And Eli rolls his eyes, and he says, yes, you're my best friend. And Ken did a fainting goat right there. We laughed so hard, I thought I was gonna pee my pants. We laughed so hard because Eli didn't know he was gonna do the fainting goat.
Oh my God.
And it was just hilarious. So just little simple things like that. Teachers have bad days. I've had students tell me some really mean stuff. Not very many, but for some reason that can ruin your whole day. If a student like back talks to you or says something mean to you. So I have a drawer in my desk, my top right drawer, and I have notes from students through the years. Sometimes they'll just leave me little cards, sometimes they'll send me little notes. I think some of the notes maybe are from did your class write notes one time? Yep. And they came and gave them to me. So I have a drawer that I will cheer myself up with. And I go, okay, maybe this one kid today didn't like that I told them what to do. And they told me off. But I have a drawer full of 25, 30 notes from students that I have done something good with. Does that make sense? Okay, so one more thing. Sometimes the reason we don't feel well, or the reason that we are not in a good mood is because we don't feel well. So your health has a lot to do with it. You know I wouldn't let you get away because you know I teach food and nutrition. What you eat, believe it or not, will either boost your mood or bring you down. So if you're eating nothing but junk food and pop and sugar, and you're not getting sleep, you're gonna be what I call a grumpy bear. All right? I can be a very grumpy bear. If I have not eaten, I'll come home sometimes from work and I'm hungry and I asked my husband to clean up something and he didn't do it, and I stand there and I'm grumping and I can't believe I asked him to do one thing and he didn't do it, and I'm like, and you know what he says to me? He says, you're hungry. So it's hangry, right? You've heard that expression? He's right. So I'll eat some fruit or have something really quick, and then I'm like, I'm sorry I grumped at you. He says, that's okay. Because he's my one person that no matter what I say to him, it could be the meanest thing in the whole world, he still loves me. And that's what you have in your parents, that's what you have in your friends, that's what you have in your siblings. Hopefully though, you are old enough and mature enough to go back and say, sorry about that. I shouldn't have called you a big doofoo head, or whatever you're gonna say. The words that I say sometimes I can't say here. But I said, you know, you have to apologize, you have to own it. And you have to say, you know what, I was really mean, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have been mean. I really never mad at him, it's really something else that happened. And I just kind of carry it with me. So what I want you to take out of this is, it's okay to be sad when things happen. I hope you have that one person that you can talk to, that you can trust with anything. But then I also hope you have a whole circle of people, grandparents, aunts and uncles, parents. Cherish them, because they're not there forever. I have now lost both my parents. My dad passed away 2 years ago, and I miss them both so much, but I'm here because of them. They have made me the person I am. I'm honest because of them. I smile, I'm happy, I'm positive, because I choose to be that way. And one last thing, if you are hanging with a group that is making bad choices, if they are putting down anybody that they see, guess what? When you walk away, they're talking about you too. Make those choices and change your friend group. You'll find people that are going to be kind and nice and loyal. And there's no such thing as this popular clique group, because to be truthful, in life, this is such a short time of your life. Once you're out of school and you're on your own, you know, none of that stuff really matters. But what I found out is that people remember if you were kind to them, people remember if you were nice to them, people remember if you stuck up for them. Okay? Do you have any questions or any kind of comments about how can you be happy? How can you be a shining star? Hi, good morning. Great to see you.
Can you guys just thank her for coming in? Can you guys just say thank you, Miss Schmitt?
You're
Yes,
welcome.
thank you.
I was very honored when I was asked, because I guess I don't walk around thinking that I'm this bright shining star. But when I have other teachers, sometimes at the end of the year, we do little get-togethers, and people say to me, "You are always so positive, you are always smiling." That doesn't mean that I have a perfect life. I don't. No one does. That doesn't mean that I don't have bad days. Everybody does. But what I show to the rest of the world is a smile. Does that make sense?